Hi, my name is Mayile Kuona, and today I will present you the school garden project I designed for my Permaculture design course and Advanced Social Systems certificate with the Permaculture Women's Guild. I am from the Basque Country, but I have moved quite a lot in my life. I studied biology and oceanography in Spain, in France, in Scotland, and in Canada. This is where I first heard the term permaculture, and as a Basque woman, as a biologist who had studied all sorts of environmental systems, and as a person who was really concerned about our impact on the planet, I immediately felt connected to it. And as a matter of fact, I discovered that I was using like a lot of principles and ethics of permaculture without knowing it. We moved to Japan a couple of years ago. And this brought us a few challenges, especially for our kids who were raised in Canada. They were quite wild, used to play in the garden, in the forest. So coming to Japan was a little hard on them because of the rules and the lack of space. So this course allowed me to design a project that would be beneficial to both my kids and the rest of the school community by planning a school garden that everybody could use. My kids' school is an international school with approximately 100 students aged 5 to 18 years from Japan and from all over the world. The school is quite small, so the community feels like a family where everybody is very easy to approach. And the school principal, he's very enthusiastic and highly supportive of permaculture education with children. So our mission here is to create a sustainable school garden that is functional for children and youngsters and provide a dynamic environment in which to observe, discover, experiment, and learn. The school garden will be a lush garden full of a mix of functional and kid-friendly elements. We'll try to include a mixture of edible, aromatic, medicinal, and pollinator-attracting plants, as well as some creative spaces. And we would like the school garden to be a welcoming and inclusive space that improves relationships and helps connecting with nature. I have set several concrete goals for the project. For example, start composting project as soon as possible, obtaining first crop by 2021, and using available rainwater as soon as possible. But here the most important would be the social goals due to all the benefits a school garden could bring to the students. A school garden is a great tool for addressing multiple learning styles, helping teachers incorporate hands-on activities, teaching environmental stewardship, making responsible caretakers, teaching patience and resilience, and increasing student self-esteem and many other reasons. So school gardens are really awesome tools for schools. This is our general base map. The school shares the campus with another high school. But for now, we will try to focus on a small space near our school. And then maybe if the project goes well and if it's successful, maybe we could expand it and make a collaborative project that would include both schools and help to create a bigger sense of community mixing both schools. So this is a map of the space we are going to use. For now, it consists in a Berlon surrounded by buildings, except on the southern side where we have an asphalt road. But motor vehicles are usually not allowed inside the campus, so there's no traffic in front of the site, and usually it's just kids playing basketball here. For this project, I have created 2 zone maps and 2 microclimate maps for before and after the implementation, because these will change a lot. So I think it was better to see the difference. This one shows where people are spending their time now before implementing the design. And for now, the space is quite neglected and it's not used every day. This is a sector's overview that shows external forces that move through or impact the project. Overall, the space is protected from cold winds and it's facing south, so there's no sun limitations. But then, since this is a school and it's not our property, there are a lot of invisible structures that we have to take into account. For example, the design needs to be approved by the school council. We are not allowed to have animals or to plant tall trees. We can't create ponds or other open water features because of the danger it could be for younger kids. We're not allowed to use grey water, and we need accessible paths for people with reduced mobility. The water system is very simple. The space is almost flat, but it's a little higher on the northern side here, so the rainwater just runs off southwards. As I said, we're not allowed to use grey water in the school, so we will focus on reducing the overall use of water, using available rainwater from the available downpipes. And then we will try to conserve as much water as possible using different strategies like building soil and mulching. The whole garden here is a microclimate as it is protected from cold Siberian winds and it's facing south. But we have a few other microclimates here due to the built environment. So this is a master plan. I am a very manual and creative person. So the whole process of creating the map, these maps was very intuitive, and I really loved creating and drawing all the little drawings and the components of these maps. Here, the main idea is to take advantage of all the microclimates we already have and then create more of them in order to provide a wide variety of niches for increasing diversity and yield. This project is very flexible because we think that it is essential to include people and especially the students in the decision making. So this is a proposal. It doesn't need to be exactly like that. It can change with time and depending on all the feedback of everybody from school. This is a zone map after implementation. So overall, we expect the use of space to be very different from the way it is used now. I have added some new Zone 1 spaces like the outdoor classroom, the playhouse, and the body bench and little free library corner. I have also added new Zone 5 features that could be wildlife refuge spaces like the insect hotel, the bird bath, the bird houses, and then some fairy houses just in case as well. This design creates many new microclimates by adding new buildings, adding raised beds, cold frames, hedges, and etc. So this should help us create new ecological niches and help us with increasing the diversity and yield of the space. This is my plants map. Creating the plant list was fun, even if it was a lot of work. It took me like more than a week, and it was a little difficult, especially because I'm not used to Japanese vegetation yet. So I had to read a lot, but I managed to find very interesting native plants for this proposal, so I'm quite happy with it. The garden will have individual beds and containers for each grade. This way, students and teachers will choose what to plant, and they'll be able to work on special projects. And then we will have some perennial gardens with plant guilds as well. The design of the new components in the project will be chosen by students and the construction committee. This will be a great opportunity for students for learning new skills. And then we will favor recycled materials and other local and natural materials as bamboo and stone. The school garden playhouse will serve as a demonstration hall system. So we want to use rainwater and grey water in there. We will add a sink for washing hands, and then we want to use renewable energies as well. We can have some solar lights, and then we have solar energy with the birth bath. And then with some time, we could add other features like passive solar dryer or passive solar oven or other features like that. For the animal system, the school council doesn't want any livestock in the campus. So the main idea is to encourage wildlife for the benefits they bring to the ecosystem. We will attract pollinators, predators of insect pests, decomposers, and birds by planting wildlife attracting plants, adding plenty of different habitats, and increasing the biodiversity overall. And then several activities around the garden will initiate the students to the animal system. For example, we can have like worm composting or observing soil life with a microscope, having bird sightings forums, and many other activities that could help with learning about the animal system. Okay, so this is a chaos and catastrophe slide. So yeah, Japan is the land of natural catastrophes. You have earthquakes, you have tsunamis, you have volcanoes, you have typhoons, landslides, floods, heat waves, you name it, they have everything here. So everything is designed to face these hazards in an ultra-efficient way. The school has its own emergency plan. It owns a clean water reservoir and generator. And the students are trained for an eventual disaster. So back in the garden, many activities will focus on resilience and on the importance of having a strong community to face catastrophes and climate change. So this is a social structure slide. With more than 100 students, the school staff and the families involved in the project, I couldn't neglect the social aspects of this project. Social permaculture is all about the second ethic, or care for people. And I didn't want to impose my ideas or methods, and I wanted to make it clear that the school garden is owned and operated by the students. Everybody will work as equals, and the students will be part of the decision making. So that's why it was very important for me to design social structures to manage all the tasks involved in and around the garden. The school garden will offer a lot of opportunities to gather the school community. For example, we have the outdoor classes and different committee meetings, the after-school activities, some workshops for teachers, students, or to the whole community, community work days, garden fundraisers, and then other kinds of festivals, celebrations. The activities of a school garden can be integrated into the classroom in many ways. Although science is the most natural fit, the classroom garden can also act as a springboard for a wide range of lessons in maths, in technology, health and physical education, in arts, in English, and in history and social sciences. For example, in technology, the idea is to create a weather station. But for the weather station, we will use some Arduino or Raspberry Pi, so they will need to work on electronics and coding for creating the weather station. So this will be great for the older students. Work in the garden involves much more than the physical work of planting, weeding, and watering. You need skills for working as a researcher, as a mathematician, as an engineer, as a nursery caretaker, and many other jobs. So teachers can allocate different jobs to the students, giving each a special role in which to develop some skill and knowledge through their own resources. When I designed the implementation process, I decided to mix all the social and physical aspects together because they are interconnected. And it made more sense to me not to differentiate those tasks by categories. So the first phase here would consist especially in forming the planning team, all the different committees, creating a decision-making framework, searching for financing opportunities, and then starting the composting project, planning and designing the garden, ordering seeds, and all the first stuff. Then in the second phase, we would start getting our hands dirty, building the outdoor classroom, the herb spiral, and the playhouse. And then we would start planting garden beds and containers, as well as planting cover crops in the future guild sites. In the next phase, we would build the other components and plant the perennial guilds. We could start planning workshops open to the community, and hopefully the project will be doing great. We will be able to take the project to the rest of the campus grounds, and maybe start a collaboration with the neighboring community center that it's just 500 meters away from the school, so it's very close. The next few slides are just some notes and diagrams, so I will try to go over them really quickly. First, we have the species list. I created a chart to be sure that we have species in all layers in space and layers in function. Then we have the components list that I have detailed in the next slides to see the functions and relationships between them. Next, we have the social components to detail all the people involved in the school garden and their roles and their responsibilities. Next, we have the stakeholder interviews. I did a direct interview to the school principal, and then I sent some Google Forms to the school teachers and the school parents. And then teachers provided paper forms during class to the students. So overall, everybody is very excited with the project. And we are already building a support community with some people who want to seriously get involved in the project. These are my observation and site assessment notes about climate, landform, water, invisible structures, limiting factors, access and circulation, microclimate, and vegetation and wildlife. Then, following the Gobradim process, we have the boundaries and limitations. So this wasn't easy for me. I tend to get too involved, and it is very difficult for me to set my limits. So I think this brainstorming was necessary, and it was really helpful to think through. These are the resources. And for me here, the most important one is people, because we have more than 100 children, we have a big community, and everybody is so happy to get involved in it, and kids have so much energy and enthusiasm that I'm sure the project is going to be awesome. This is the implementation timeline and task lists. So for this one, I created a spreadsheet with zones, phases, and the people who would take care of the tasks. I am a very organized person, so this was really fun to do and quite easy for me, in fact. And I think it was very helpful too, especially because we're not staying here in Japan forever. We're planning to move someday. So the people at school will have a strong foundation to keep the project going. For the maintenance plan, I created a few checklists. Checklists for daily garden tasks, monthly and seasonal tasks, and yearly tasks. As maintenance will be difficult in the summer, the recommendation is to put some mulch or plant cover crops and close the garden in summer. Fast-growing crops should be planted in early spring to ensure harvest before summer break, as well as the beginning of the school year for a fall-winter harvest. And then slow-growing crops should be planted in late spring for a harvest in fall, sorry. And that's it. Finally, it's my evaluation. So this course has been it has been a regenerative journey for me, and I am so happy to have finally taken the time for doing it and completing it. I have especially enjoyed the whole social permaculture aspect of the course, and I hope I will be able to continue exploring these aspects. I am very thankful to the whole team of the Permaculture Women's Guild, and especially to Mandy, who has taken the time to advise and encourage me during the process. So, muchas gracias, Mandy. I hope I will be able to see your projects in Mallorca one day.